Guys, in part 12 of this story. What if Naruto was being trained by Madara and Hashirama? Please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Now, let's begin. Naruto woke up inside the hospital with several, get well, cards surrounding his bed table. Naruto rubbed his eyes and then pain shot through his body. Take it easy Rikudo-sama, Sakin says from his left, and when Naruto's vision clears he sees his 5 paths sitting down in chairs. We saw what happened, that was a tough battle, you piece of shit. Tayuya smiles and shakes her head. You fought bravely Rikudo-sama, I am glad I chose to join you after all. Kimimaro says, yeah. Naruto leans against the pillows on his bed clutching his side. He's in here Lady Hokage. A new voice called out. Just then Tsunade walks in and followed by Jiraiya. So I see you found some paths. I did Lady Tsunade. Now report. Shikamaru, Choji, Neji, Kiba and I went after the kidnappers of Sasuke Uchiha as per your orders. We engaged the sound ninja you see before us and one by one we took down the sound ninja 4 and we went after Sasuke Uchiha only for another member of Orochimaru's gang interfered. In the end I confronted the possessed Sasuke and using Yami-sama's gift I separated Sasuke from Dark Sasuke and together Sasuke and I managed to defeat Dark Sasuke. However, during the fight I saw an opportunity to allow Sasuke to unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan, which he did, and after that my mission was a success. Sasuke is now our spy from with Orochimaru's inner circle. I used Koto Amatsukami and he will be sending us letters at least once a month and some letters to his mother. Very good Naruto, but this will needs to stay between the 8 of us. Tsunade says. So it's an S-rank secret? Naruto asks. Yes, now I believe you have something to say to him Jiraiya. I did. Jiraiya steps forward and looks Naruto. Naruto, I'm taking you on a training trip. For how long? Naruto asks. 3 years. Sure, but I want to visit the others. Naruto starts getting up. When do we leave? In 3 weeks. Naruto gets up and Tayuya hands him his armor. Right. And what are we to do Rikudo-sama? Kidomaru asks. You 5 should stay here, hone your skills and practice with your path abilities. Yes Rikudo-sama. The 5 bow to him. Sasuke was walking down a pathway following Orochimaru and followed by Kabuto. Sasuke, you are my chosen one. Orochimaru says, cackling softly. I don't care, just get me power. Sasuke responded. Kabuto leans into Sasuke's ear. Quote, it may not look like it, but that is still Lord Orochimaru, so watch your tongue if you want to live. Kabuto says in a hushed tone. Sasuke doesn't respond but glares at Kabuto, flares his chakra. What is this chakra? It's so powerful. Sasuke, there is a very strong future with you. Orochimaru thinks with glee. Pain and the other members of the Akatsuki were gathered in a circle as holograms. It's been a while since we've met like this. The last time was 7 years ago, when Orochimaru left the group. Kisame said. Orochimaru has gotten his hands on the Sharingan. Zetsu says. Itachi, is it your little brother? Itachi doesn't respond but simple stares into the darkness. Don't worry, him. Deidara says. We'll eventually kill Orochimaru, him. But we only have 3 years left. Pain says. I have to go see Naruto and get to the bottom of this. Itachi thinks. Leader Sama, may I go to Konoha to check on my mother? She will be hit hard with Sasuke leaving, and despite what I did I still care for my mother. Never pictured you the sentimentally type Itachi, him. Deidara says. Itachi glares at Deidara, his Sharingan flashing in the dark. Go Itachi, but be quick and careful about it. Pain responds. Yes Leader Sama. Itachi bows and his holograph disappear. Itachi opened his eyes and looked at Kisame, who had his eyes closed still, and he vanished in a murder of crows. Then he reappears in front of Konoha's gate. He looks, and to his shock there were no guards. What kind of bullshit security is this? Itachi thinks as he raises an eyebrow. Itachi puts up a henge and walks toward the Uchiha clan compound, and he vanished again. Makoto was sitting on her porch sipping some jasmine tea and trying to calm her nerves. Suddenly she hears a crow make its call and Makoto looks up and she sees the crow flying overhead. A crow? What is a crow doing here? Makoto thinks to herself, just then spins around and throws a kunai at the bushes by the koi pond. I may be a stay-at-home mom, I'm still a Junin and my skills haven't diminished over the years. I commend you on hearing me, I though the crow would distract you longer. A voice calls and Itachi stands up from the brushes, his Anbu gear on. Itachi. Makoto looks shocked to see her oldest standing there. Ka-chan. Itachi walks over to her. I heard what happened, I want to come and see how you were doing. Itachi holds out his arms to his mother who runs to her oldest and hugs him, pouring her eyes out. Itachi smiles sadly and strokes her hair. My baby, you're Ototo. Orochimaru stole my baby. That's what I wanted to talk about. The Sasuke I knew and the Sasuke that lived his life after I left didn't change that much, so why did he all of a sudden leave? It doesn't make sense. Orochimaru must have kidnapped him, but my Sasuke is strong. I know that Naruto and Kakashi taught him well, so only the Sound Ninja 4 could have captured him. Itachi, can you bring my baby back? I'm sorry Ka-chan, but the Akatsuki doesn't have their sights set on Orochimaru right now. However, I talk around the Akatsuki and see if we can get some info on Sasuke. I'll talk to Sasori. Unfortunately, hiring S ranks is expensive. I can handle any cost to get back my Sasuke. I know you're busy, but could you do your mommy a big favor and try to get him back? I will talk to Leader Sama and see what we can do. Besides, Kakazu would never complain about having more money. I'll send a letter with you back to the Akatsuki. To whom should I address it? We call him Pain, or Leader Sama. Even I don't know what he looks like. Alright, give me a second. Makoto and Itachi walk back into the house and Makoto grabs some paper and starts writing down something. Dear Pain of the Akatsuki, my name is Makoto Uchiha. My son, Itachi Uchiha, told me that you are aware of what Orochimaru has done with my other son Sasuke Uchiha. I formally would like to request that you try and get him back to me. If you can't, I understand, as you must be very busy. If you could respond at the nearest opportunity, I would appreciate it. Makoto Uchiha of Konoha. Makoto finished the letter and gave it to Itachi, then went back inside, and when she turned around, Itachi was gone. Naruto was sitting in the hospital bed. Hinata, Haku and Ino sitting next to him. All of them were kissing him and them when there was a knock at the door, and then Tsunade walked in and the three of them broke apart. Then Mikuru walked shortly thereafter. Now are you done with your little make-out session, or should I come back later? Tsunade asks. No, we're good. Naruto responds. Anyway, we have a mission for you and Team 7 and 10. Mizuki and 2 criminals escaped from prison late last night. What are their names? Fujin and Raijin. Mikuru lets out a groan of annoyance. Ah, great. Out of 500 inmates, out of all he could have interacted with, he picks those 2. Mikuru groans. I take it you know those 2, uncle? Naruto says. Yes, I do. They are the infamous idiot brothers Fujin and Raijin. They don't sound that tough, huh? Mikuru, don't let the name and outward appearance fool you. Their strength rivals Tsunade's. You got to be kidding me. Hashirama says, shocked. Hey, I wanna talk to the Senju. Madara says. Madara want to speak. Naruto says, then he closes his eyes, and when he opens them his eyes are the Sharingan. Simultaneously the 5 paths feel a feeling of cold chakra wash over them. What is this chakra? Kimimaro thinks in deep fear. What got them locked up in the first place? Madara asks. I'm glad you asked. They had turned on their squad members for a meal they wanted over they were having. I know this because it was a couple weeks before I had took Junin exams, and I was part of the team that was tasked with subduing them. And at the time before I had those experiments involuntarily done on me, I was barely able to hold them down. Whoa, they are that strong? Naruto asks, shocked. Yes, now we have to capture them. Mikuru looks at Naruto. You're going to need backup. Tsunade said. What about my paths? Naruto asks. If your paths were discovered by Orochimaru, things would not end well. Shikamaru was standing in front of the 3 siblings and the academy students were behind him. Tamari-san, I want to be a kunoichi just like you one day. That's an honor. Tamari smiles. Sorry, I had to watch the academy kids. Shikamaru says, it's alright. Yeah, and I wanted to do some reconnaissance on the Leaf's future military forces. Kankuro smiles. But the kids aren't the only reason Tamari came here, is it? Tamari flushes red and looks away. Shish. Shut up. Tamari whacks Kankuro over her head with her fan. Shikamaru blushes slightly, then looks at Gaara. Well, take care. Shikamaru says. Then the 3 Sand siblings walk off. Then Gaara turns around and walks over to Shikamaru. I know that I'm over my violent self, but if you hurt my Nei-chan, I'll kill you. Gaara says, and Shikamaru starts sweating nervously. Got it. Just then an Anbu lands in front of Shikamaru. Shikamaru-san, your presence is requested by the Hokage. Your squad members are already there and waiting for you. Alrighty, I'm on my way. Shikamaru runs off towards the Hokage office. Naruto was running after Mizuki and the stupid brothers using his dog summon to sniff out Mizuki. Uncle, what happens if we encounter the stupid brothers? I'll handle them. With Orochimaru's meddling I can handle them both, but it will be close. Mizuki will no doubt want you dead for revenge, so you handle him then back me up. Right. Naruto and Mikuru keep running when suddenly Naruto starts detecting chakra signatures dropping like flies and he recognizes one. Mikuru, OG-san, I sense a lot of chakra signatures dropping in that direction, and I also sense 3 chakra signatures to or foreign to me, but the third, it is Mizuki. Lead the way. Mikuru says, then he runs after Naruto, who was leaping with his Mangekyo flared. Mizuki was looking at the collapsed bodies around him, Fujin and Raijin. Nice work you two, now let's get going. Then they jump off towards Orochimaru's location. Mizuki thinks back to when he struck down Tsubaki and how she wept at him to stop this madness. Mizuki shakes his head, then they continue on their way. Big brother, what is taking so long? Don't worry, we'll reach Lord Orochimaru soon enough. Naruto jumped into a clearing and saw some bodies but no sign of Shizune. Where is Shizune? Naruto asks. No idea, let's keep moving. Naruto leaps off and then looks at Mikuru. Uncle, what made Fujin and Raijin so infamous? They have special bodies that they achieved through training, which makes taijutsu useless against them. Their outward appearance looks like fat, but in reality it's all muscle. You got to be kidding me. Yeah, but ninjutsu will work just fine. Well, I've got a very huge arsenal of ninjutsu. Ino, Shikamaru and Choji were running after Naruto and Mikuru following Pakun. How much farther until we catch up to them? Shikamaru asks. 20 minutes, but Naruto's chakras start to smell like fox. I think the Kyuubi is acting up. Pakun responds. That's bad. Ino responds. Naruto told me about the Kyuubi, but they're friends, so it's Naruto's anger that's triggering the fox's power. Naruto and Mikuru landed in a clearing when suddenly Naruto grabs Mikuru and jumps to the side, and suddenly a gigantic boulder crashed where they were standing a few seconds ago. They're here. Mikuru says. I know. Naruto responds. Just then Raijin and Fujin and land in front of Naruto and Mikuru. Aw man, we missed bro. Fujin says with a sad look. I know, a few seconds later and they would have been crushed. Raijin responds. Uncle, he's here. Then kill him. Mizuki. You're dead. Naruto roars and his Susanoo backhands Mizuki, slamming him into the rocks. How did you know? You can't hide, you dark intent, now you're going to die. Naruto uses his Susanoo and punches Mizuki into the forest, and Naruto runs after them. So we meet again, Fujin, Raijin. Mikuru says, cracking his knuckles, then making the tiger, then snake hand sign. Metal style. Colossus mode. Mikuru grows in size and metal plate begin to cover and coat his body, then the razor claws came later. Hey brother, he changed forms. Fujin says, that he did. Raijin responds. Doesn't it seem like we've met this guy before? It does brother. You don't remember me, but I remember you, and it's clear you don't remember me, but you're going to die. Mikuru says with a dark look on his face. Mikuru charges and starts slashing with his claws and throwing punches, crushing the brothers in pure power and attack strength. How? Last time you couldn't beat us. Fujin asks, but now you are overwhelming us easily. Raijin responds, so you remember me? No, took you long enough. Mikuru smiles. You're still not going to kill me, Kyuubi brat. That is where you are wrong. Naruto says. You don't know what my power is, and I've gained new ones since you and I last met. Oh, and what is that? Mizuki smirks darkly. My Susanoo. Naruto activates his eyes and the Susanoo rises up and surrounds Naruto. Then Naruto charges and he starts throwing punches and kicks, which Mizuki is hard pressed to dodge each strike. Eventually Naruto makes contact, sending Mizuki flying back. Mizuki gets back up, then he looks behind him and sees the place where he had taken the exam to become an academy instructor. Mizuki opened the door and runs inside, and Naruto punches the door down, and when Naruto walked in, his Rinnegan expanding to intake the most information. Suddenly a laugh starts coming from all around the room, and Naruto expands his sensory range to detect Mizuki's chakra signature or his darkness. You really think that just because you have the power of the founders of our village you think that you can kill me? Mizuki's voice echoes through the room. You think I won't hesitate to bring down this place? You are dead wrong, Mizuki. Oh come now, you would only hurt yourself. Mizuki starts laughing and it echoes. You don't know much about the Susanoo, do you? What is there to know? It's the ultimate defense of the Mangekyo Sharingan. I will show you the true power of Madara's eyes. Naruto's Mangekyo glowed in the dark and the ethereal warrior burst to life. You are a weakling, drown in despair. This is my power, the power of my ocular prowess. Prove it. Mizuki says right behind Naruto and stabs a kunai at Naruto only for it to shatter against the rib cage. Naruto backhands his former teacher and then the warrior grabs Mizuki and he squeezed tightly cracking his ribs and then he threw him into the air then formed his Susanoo's sword and he ran Mizuki through the gut. Mizuki coughed up blood and Naruto flung him from the blade. "You're dead Mizuki and that's that." Just then a sizzling is heard and Naruto looks up to see a cluster of paper bombs and Mizuki smiles. "If I'm going down then you go down with me." Then the explosion destroyed the training area. Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji were running towards where Ino sensed a huge chakra clash. Just then they saw a huge explosion in the distance. Naruto-kun's chakra is coming from the direction. Ino shouts pointing towards the explosion. "Then we should hurry up and back him up." Choji shouts and they run off towards the explosion. Mizuki stumbled up onto a river bank holding his stomach where Naruto's Susanoo had stabbed him. In front of him he saw a small cave where Orochimaru's instructions had told him to go. Quote, "Foolish Kyuubi brat." Mizuki smiled as he pulled out a bunch of herbs that he stole from the Nara Herb Center after he visited his lover. Mizuki then coughed up more blood. Mizuki then made his way to the cave. The collapsed building rubble was suddenly sliced by a blue ethereal sword and the outline of Naruto's Susanoo smashed through the rubble. "Okay. Ow." Naruto bursts free from the rubble, and then he shakes off the dust of and cracks his knuckles then back and neck. Naruto finished stretching as Kurama healed the last of his wounds. "Kit, are you alright?" Kurama asks. "I feel alright but I'm going to be sore in the morning." "Hey Naruto, I just remember a power behind my ocular prowess." Madara calls out. "What is it?" "I can reverse time." "What?" Kurama, Naruto and Hashirama shout shocked. "I first unlocked this power back at the Valley of the End, but I never remembered anything reoccurring, no repeat of information or sense of deja vu. My power reverses everything around me but not myself, meaning that I can change things that happened." "But when did you first use it?" "Back when you threw that large shuriken at me. I thought it was a little suspicious on how you were able to dodge it. I threw it when I knew your vision was clouded by the dust but you still blocked it. All this time I never knew how you did it but now I know and it all makes sense. The attack connected the first time but then you reversed time so you knew where the blow was coming from and you were able to send it back at me." "Exactly right. Now Shinigami-sama made it quite clear that I'm to teach you everything I know but I wanted to keep some surprises for when you got older plus you needed both my eyes to use this jutsu so there had to be some sort of delay." Madara rubbed the back of his head. "When do I get to learn it?" Naruto asks excitedly. "Now that's a good question because it's a Mangekyo skill and it deals with the flow of time. It's very hard to teach so unless you have any ideas." Kurama, "I got nothing." He could always absorb the information using human path but there would need to be something to anchor your soul or Naruto would completely absorb your sand and the information you hold and I'm sure you have secrets you would like to hold. "What about my Rinnegan?" "You, what?" Kurama yells. "Shortly before my death I was able to unlock the Rinnegan but mine was less complete than Naruto's." "Less complete? What do you mean Madara?" Hashirama asks. "When I read about Hagoromo Otsutsuki's history I learned something that not even I knew." "What was that?" "The sage had red hair and an extraordinary lifespan. According to his notes he lived to be 108. He was an Uzumaki." Naruto says shocked. "Apparently and the sage had a third child. A daughter. Apparently neither brother knew they had a sister. Hagoromo was very secretive about her. Apparently her gift was her father's longevity which she passed on to her children. Her name was Moka Uzumaki. So what is required to properly wield the Rinnegan is DNA mixture of Senju and Uchiha but the body of an Uzumaki." "Yes but that's not important right now. What is important is that Mizuki is escaping. I'll teach you the jutsu later." "Right." Naruto leaps off towards where the trail of Mizuki's blood went and he eventually ended up at a river but that is where the blood trail ended. So he escaped down the river. Naruto jumps and runs down the river following the dark aura that trailed down the river which was leading him to Mizuki. Mizuki had found one of Orochimaru's old labs and had prepared the 4 individual mixtures and poured them into the basin. The pressed a button and the liquids started to merge changing color indicating a chemical reaction. Eventually the liquids converged into a pool of evil red liquid and when it was done Mizuki starts laughing like a maniac. "With this I will finally become complete." Mizuki scoops the liquid into a glass container when he hears the sound of Naruto's Senju armor as he moves toward the cave. Mizuki walked out holding the glass container with the red liquid in it. "I was wondering who it was, the group that was so persistent only for me to find it's only you. QB brat. You call me QB brat because of the 9 tails inside of me, but never once did you consider the consequences of your action, how those words would come back to haunt you. Mizuki. Naruto said as he strides forward, grabbing the gunbai and the scythe on his back. You're nothing compared to me, especially after I drink this. Mizuki lifts the concoction to his lips and drinks it all. Mizuki drops the container on the ground. I think you will be my first prey. Mizuki then starts transforming and gains huge muscle growth and his tiger-like stripes across his body. Well, this some interesting chakra. Looks like you make for an interesting tango partner. Now Naruto takes out the gunbai and scythe. Shall we dance? Naruto charges Mizuki without a second though and starts attacking, forcing Mizuki to jump to the defensive, but eventually Mizuki throws a kick trying to start the offensive, only for Naruto's Susanoo rise up and it blocks the kick. Quote, how pathetic, even with your enhanced body this is the best you can do. Naruto taunts. Stand still. Mizuki roars, only for Naruto to blast him with ki, and Mizuki watches as he is brutally ripped apart and devoured by Kurama. Wow, and I thought you were pathetic before to be frightened by only a fraction of my power. Suddenly Mizuki's hands and feet start smoking and he evolves into a tiger hybrid. Now how will you counter this demon brat? Naruto raises an eyebrow. Oh, and here I thought I wasn't going to get to play with a few more jutsu, but looks like you dance a bit more. Naruto slams his hands together. Hidden wood jutsu. Deep forest emergence. The gigantic naivety of trees starts to ensnare Mizuki, but he starts slicing at them. But Naruto smiles darkly and makes a single hand sign. Fire style. Great fire annihilation. The fireball roars at Mizuki and it roars over him, burning him severely. Damn brat. Mizuki roars and he charges Naruto, intent on ripping him apart, only Naruto starts forming a Rasengan in his hand and starts channeling his fire chakra into it. Quote, I think it's time for you to burn, Tem. Naruto dashes forward and slams the Rasengan into Mizuki. Hellfire. Rasengan. Naruto throws Mizuki from the impact zone and a huge explosion of fire erupts into the sky, causing a huge tornado of fire. When the fire died down, Mizuki had transformed to only this time into a withered old man. So it doesn't look like you can dance any longer. What a boring partner. As long as I have El Lord O Orochimaru's will, you can't beat me. Power is not will, it is the phenomenon of physically making things happen. Nice work, Naruto. Tsunade says as Mikuru and Team 10 walk forward. What happened to him? Mikuru asks as he looks at Mizuki's burned and withered body. My fire Rasengan and some stupid elixir that Orochimaru had him make, I guess this is the side effects of it. Naruto says, and he shrugged his shoulders. I am glad the Lord First's teachings reached me before the old school methods did, or otherwise I would have been as would a lot of shinobi, turned out no different than Mizuki. He thinks back to the moment he had a chance to pounce on Makoto and failed. Anyway, let's head back to the Leaf Village and we can get this sucker interrogated and we'll be that much closer to bringing Sasuke back. Tsunade says, and she winks at Naruto, who smiles tiredly, and they all start walking back. Just before he turns to leave, Mikuru looks at Mizuki, who had a snarl on his face. You were so bent on revenge against Naruto, you've yet to realize you were fucked long before you had a chance to start. Mikuru runs after everyone, and when he catches up with them he sees Sakura running towards with a smile on her face. Tsunade-sensei. Sakura shouts out. I cleared level 7. Tsunade looks shocked, then smiles at her student. Well done, Sakura, you're well on your way to being a great medic ninja. Tsunade says, smiling. Thank you, master. Sakura bows. I told you so. Hashirama sticks his tongue out at Madara. I don't care. Madara yells back, getting pissed off. You still owe me 10,000. Yeah, don't rub it in. Naruto woke up with Haku and Hinata next to him. You know, I could get used to this. Naruto thinks, smiling. Naruto then starts getting up when Haku and Hinata start walking up. Good morning, Naruto-kun. Hinata and Haku say, stretching, and the three of them get out of bed. Good morning. Naruto smiles at them, then he walks downstairs and he starts making breakfast. Just then Naruto sees a hawk perched outside the window with a letter attached to its leg. Naruto opens the window and the hawk flies in and lands on the table. Naruto walks over to it and grabs the letter and opens it. To his surprise, a picture of the Sharingan is on top, and a second later the words on the letter become clear. If you're reading this, Naruto, then that means my assumption was correct and the Rinnegan can read things that only the Sharingan can read. Anyway, to my point, Orochimaru has been training me well, but I've hidden my Mangekyo from him, but I thought it best to inform you that I've made some progress with its abilities, though hiding Susanoo has been the most challenging, but I managed to hide it. As you predicted, my vision has visibly deteriorated somewhat, but I've managed to learn some medical ninjutsu from Kabuto and I've been healing the damage, but I've had to be careful with how I use it. Anyway, Orochimaru has been conducting experiments on people trying to unlock the secrets of nature. Personally, I find it disgusting, but hey, the power's been great. My curse mark training has been going well. Orochimaru is pleased with my progress and I can feel my power growing. Also, I overheard something you might find interesting. The host of the Sanbi has recently been killed, and according to the research I've been doing, it will take 3 years to reform. That should put the Akatsuki on pause. This ends my report. Give my best to Hinata and the others. Also, there should be a second letter. Could you give that to my mom? The Hidden Leaf's Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto searched around and found the second letter, and he donned his armor and ran off towards Uchiha clan compound, and when he arrives he handed the letter to Makoto. Thank you, Naruto. Makoto says, and she smiles. Just then an Anbu leaps down and kneels in front of Naruto. Naruto-sama, Tsunade-sama has requested your presence for a high-ranked mission. Thank you. Naruto says, and the Anbu leaps off. Well, gotta go. Naruto leaps up towards the Hokage tower, and to his surprise Hinata, Kiba and Shino are standing there. Hi Naruto-kun. Hinata says as she smiles at her boyfriend. Hi Hinata-chan. Naruto smiles back. Enough chit-chat. Tsunade says. Sakura came to me and asked if there was any way to bring Sasuke back to the village, and I told her that it was impossible as we didn't have any clues. Fortunately, Shino brought up something that hasn't been used since the Second Great Shinobi War, the Baikochu Beetle. The what? Naruto asks, confused. Ah, the Baikochu, good times, good times. Madara says, you've heard of this beetle, Madara? Yeah, every other year we would go out looking for them when the clan was in a time of peace. We never found them, but Izuna and I still had fun playing with one another. Madara, any idea what this thing looks like? Nope, sorry, I told you I never found it. Well, dang it. The Baikochu beetle lays its eggs once over its lifetime, but there are so many of them and so few predators that the species still thrives. Shino says, well, what are we waiting for? Naruto asks. Shino Aburame, Kiba Inuzuka, Hinata Hyuga, Naruto Uzumaki, I command you to find a Baikochu. Hi Lady Tsunade. They all respond. Who is leading? Shino asks. Naruto, you're in charge. You leave in 1 hour. Tsunade says, yes ma'am. Everyone was gathered at the front gate with packed backpacks. Alright, let's go everyone. Naruto turns and they all starts walking out, and Naruto looks at Shino. I have absolutely no idea where we are going, so if you do, please feel free to share with the rest of us. Alright Naruto, everyone follow me. It's going to take 2 days to reach the Baikochu, no matter how trained a shinobi. Besides, they won't leave or lay eggs until it rains, and my bugs are telling me there is no rain in the area. Alright. Shino and the others start walking off, and after about a day of walking they arrive in a clearing, and Shino stops and Naruto gives him a funny look. What's going on? Why are we stopping? The sun is going down. I think it wise for you to get used to the cycle of the Baikochu, as it isn't active during the day, so we should rest here for the night. Got it. Since this is an insect mission, I think I'll let you lead us in the right direction. Then we stop here for the night. Naruto, Kiba and Hinata set up the tent, and then Hinata searches her back, and to her shock her sleeping bag isn't there. When she searches, it holds a small note with Neji's handwriting. Payback's a bitch, isn't it, Lady Hinata? Neji, I'm going to fucking kill you. Hinata calls out. What's wrong, Hinata-chan? Neji stole my sleeping bag. Why not just sleep with me? I mean, we already do that at home. Hinata smiles at Naruto. You're so kind, Naruto-kun. Hinata and Naruto crawl into the sleeping bag. Naruto's armor hang up next to them. Hinata suddenly woke up and went over to the nearby waterfall to practice a technique she developed a few weeks ago. A couple of minutes later, Naruto woke up and he noticed Hinata wasn't next to him. After a few seconds, panicking, Naruto starts trying to feel out Hinata's chakra. When he finds her chakra, it's coming from the waterfall nearby. Naruto walks over there. He sees Hinata dancing on the water's surface, spinning, dancing and twirling. Then Naruto notices her clothes folded neatly to the side. Instantly he gets a nosebleed and slips on the rock and falls in. The noise startles Hinata and she turns to see Naruto kneeling there. Instantly she covers herself up. "And Naruto-kun," Hinata says, shocked. "Sorry Hinata-chan, I woke up and found you not next to me and I got worried, and then when I found out what was happening I got a nosebleed and I fell in." Naruto rubs the back of his head apologetically. "It's okay Naruto-kun, you didn't do anything wrong, you just startled me, that's all." "Alright Hinata-chan, well I'm going back to bed, just next time let me know if you're going to do something like that." "Got it Naruto-kun." Naruto goes back to sleep and a few minutes later Hinata walks back in and snuggles next to Naruto. When everyone woke up they started setting off, continuing on their journey. Suddenly Naruto sneezed. "Naruto, something wrong? Not coming down with a cold are you?" Kiba asks. "Nah, just I'm a bit tired." "Even after that sleep you're still tired?" Shino asks. "Yeah, it just something woke me up last night and I wasn't tired so I took a little walk last night." "Oh well, try to refrain from doing so again without letting someone know." "Fair enough." Naruto then spots some fruits and he points them out. "Good eye Naruto, these fruit are eatable." Suddenly Naruto sees a gigantic fruit and using his eye sets it ablaze with Amaterasu. "Naruto, what are you doing?" Kiba asks. "Setting the unsafe fruit on fire." Naruto replies. "Naruto is correct that fruit is poisonous." Shino says. Naruto and the rest arrived at the cannon. "Hey Shino, is this the place?" Naruto asks. "Yeah, the Baikochu should be here." Shino responds. "So does anyone know what this particular bug looks like?" "Yes, but we have to scale the wall and that's going to be a long trip as no human could scale it, which is why insects have lived here for thousands of years. Wo Chome would love it here." Kurama says. "Hey kid, if we ever figure out how to free Chome, think you could tell him about this place, I'm sure he'd love to live here." "I'll see what I can do." After a few minutes of climbing down they land on the ground. Just then Naruto feels 3 chakra sources nearby and he's instantly on the alert. "This is the Baikochu forest." Shino says. "Let's go." "Right." The others respond and they start walking. "Those chakra sources are close, I can feel it, but who could it possibly be?" Naruto starts looking around, his eyes scanning everything to the smallest detail. A few hours later none of them had any luck looking for the Baikochu. Shino used an insect summoning jutsu to gather the insects in the area only to find nothing. Akamaru and Kiba looked around by sight and scent, finding nothing. Hinata used her Byakugan and after a quick scan she saw 3 shinobi trying to hide from them. She ran after the group and they gathered in one location. "We're being followed," Naruto says in a hushed voice. "Yeah, 3 of them Junin rank by what my insects told me." "What do we do?" Hinata asked. "If we cause a conflict it could kill the Baikochu, so let's leave them alone for now and see what happens." Shino responds. "Right." Naruto then looks around with his Rinnegan. "I'll watch the shinobi from the sky, you 3 can look for it, after all my Rinnegan is more of a combat dojutsu than a Rakan dojutsu." "Got it." The others responds. Naruto starts weaving hand signs and the drill-beaked bird appears and Naruto climbs on it and takes to the sky circling overhead. Naruto watches the shinobi and continues late into the night. Eventually he falls asleep on the bird after giving it an order to watch the shinobi. The next morning the shinobi had moved and Naruto saw a rain cloud in the distance. "God damn it." Naruto cursed. "It's going to rain soon." Naruto made a shadow clone and ordered it to go find Hinata and the others and alert them of the approaching rain. A few hours later the rain had started to fall, and to his surprise Naruto's Rinnegan spots a Baikochu and he dives and captures it using universal pull. Then Shino places it in a glass container. "Nice work Naruto, how did you see it?" Kiba asks. "When the rain started falling the insects became clearer to my Rinnegan and I managed to spot one out of dumb luck." Naruto dispels the summon. "I'm going to get Sasuke's headband, I kept it in a ceiling scroll back home, hang on, I'll be right back." Naruto hands Shino one of his kunai. "Hold on to this. Don't lose it." Naruto vanished in a flash of red and black and a few seconds later he reappeared with the ceiling scroll. "Here we go. Now I'm going for a walk, you can keep the kunai, I don't need it." Naruto walks off and a few minutes later Naruto sees a swarm of bees headed right for him. "Oh, that is just great." Naruto activates his Susanoo and the bees smash into the rib cage. "Oh, you managed to block the bees, how clever of you." A new voice calls out and 3 Iwa shinobi come walking forward. "Who in the hell are you?" "We are from the Hidden Stones Kamizuru clan." The girl in the middle says, "Oh, that's interesting, but now I have another question for you. Oh, and what would that be? The man with the black hair says. Which one of you is willing to dance first? Naruto draws the gun by and side. Instantly the three Iwa shinobi pale as those words. Why, you're the one Lord Onoki warned us about. Naruto Uzumaki. What's so great about one kid? The blonde-haired one said. Moron, he fought the ICHIBI and lived. The girl shouts. Drown in despair. This is the power of Madara Uchiha. Divine power. Naruto charges the Susanoo still around him and using its blade he slices two of them in half, then set the last one on fire using Amaterasu. You can stop hiding now, I know those are only honey clones. Naruto throws a kunai behind him. How did you know where we were? When hiding from a sensory type you should really learn to hide your chakra. Die. They threw more bees at Naruto but the Susanoo protected him. You know something, I'm getting really sick of you, time to die. Naruto starts weaving hand signs. Fire style. Great fire annihilation. Naruto exhales the huge blast of fire. Eventually Naruto drops his Susanoo and walks away only to walk into a honey trap. Fool, you walled right into our trap, now you are going to get us the Baikochu or you're going to die. The girl smirks. Do you know what my nickname in Konoha is? What would that be? The Leaf Village's red and black flash. The three shinobi pale instantly remember the decimation that Minato gave them. Mastered the HH Hirishin. Yep, but that doesn't matter. Naruto starts weaving more hand signs. Wood style. Deep forest emergence. The gigantic forest emerges and starts attacking and they jump out of the way and the girl slams her palm on the ground. Summoning jutsu. The gigantic bee appears and Naruto looks at it with an amused look. Well, looks like you can tango a bit longer after all. What is your obsession with dancing? You three are nothing more than dirt compared to me. Such arrogance. Arrogance. No, it's confidence in my abilities and your lack thereof. What are you going to do against us? There is only one of you and three of us. One of me, perhaps it's time I show you the power of the Rinnegan. Naruto starts weaving hand signs and slams his palm on the ground and in a flash of smoke the 5 other paths appear. Behold the 6 paths of the Rinnegan. You called us Rikudo-sama. Kidomaru asks. Yes, let's show them what happens when you mess with me. Scatter. The paths run in random directions then start attacking, overwhelming the bee users. Eventually Naruto captures the 3 shinobi. What shall we do with them, Rikudo-sama? Kimimaro asks. Then drop them. Yes sir. Kimimaro forms a bone sword and stabs all 3 of them in the throat and they drop dead. Just then the others come running up to Naruto. Naruto, are you alright? Kiba asks. We felt your chakra spike dangerously high and Hinata saw your Susanoo. What happened? The shinobi that were following us attempted to ambush me, but too bad for them. Naruto turned around with Madara's rake face on. They chose the wrong target. Okay, I just learned the face of my nightmares for the next 3 weeks. Dear fucking Kami-sama, that is the scariest face I've ever seen. Madara says, reeling back in shock. Tell me about it. Hashirama says, looking at Naruto through the link in the Rinnegan. Okay, and I thought I was scary, but this takes the fucking cake and rapes it. Kurama says, his 9 tails tucked between his legs, and I thought that kid was scary before. Sakin thinks, trembling at the face. Okay, note to self, never piss off Naruto. Kidomaru thinks. Man, Naruto-kun is scary, but man, he's so hot. Hinata thinks, licking her lips. Anyway, let's head back to the Leaf Village. Naruto says. Just then Kidomaru farts and the Baikochu just hatched and it inhaled the scent. God damn it, Kidomaru. Naruto kicks him in the balls and he collapsed. Why? Kidomaru asked in a soprano voice. Because you fucked up the entire mission in one fell swoop, you lucky I'm not killing you. Naruto roars, then he just shakes his head and looks at his other paths. Remind me next time, I'm about to take Kidomaru on a mission to make sure he doesn't eat anything spicy. Yes, Rikudo-sama. Kimimaro says to Naruto. Then they all start the long walk back to the Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto woke up with Hinata and Haku next to him once more. Naruto went over the missions of the last 2 weeks. The Ghost Samurai in the Land of Birds, which ended up being Toki, the heir to the Land of Birds, trying to find out what happened to her father and brother. Naruto eventually helped her get her revenge against the man and let the souls of her family to rest. Next came a mission deep in the Land of Fire, and the Kurama clan. Kurama found humor in their name but kept it to himself. Eventually, with a combination the wood style and Tsukuyomi, he managed to suppress the demon within Yakumo and sealed away its power, but he will never forget what happened when they returned. Naruto sensed a chakra source very familiar to him and he ran off towards and found his uncle running off towards the Uchiha clan compound. Naruto followed him after rounding up Ino, Hinata and Haku, and they arrived to see his uncle talking to Makoto. Recent event have been a real kick to my head and so I wish to ask you out on a date. Mikaru said, rubbing his head before. What do you say? Mikaru, you're a really sweet guy and I know you've had your crush on me for a long time. You know what, it sounds like fun. I haven't been out of the house in a long time. Makoto responded smiling and Mikaru blushed a deep crimson. Naruto and the others looked at one another and Naruto smiled, then they all left. Naruto walked toward the bathroom and looked in the mirror and then a thought occurred to him. If Makoto and Mikaru end up together, I'll be Sasuke brother for real. That would be funny. I guess it would, but anyway, there's something I've hid from all of you but now only recently remembered. Madara said. What is it, Madara? The identity of my co-conspirator. Co-conspirator. Yes, you think that Project Tsuki no Mi didn't have a successor? I mean, come on, no one can live forever. So what's name? Obito Uchiha. What? Yeah, I saved him from death and told him about my plan and he agreed to follow me and he took over when I died. Okay. Remind you to smack you later for that, Madara. Anyway, how are you doing with my Mangekyo power? Pretty good, I'm able to rewind up to half a minute. Not bad, Naruto, that's almost 3 times as much as I can, but then again I didn't get much time to practice it. Just then there was a knock at the door and Naruto donned his armor and put on his cloak and he grabbed his gunbai and strapped the scythe to it and opened the door and saw Kakashi, Sakura and Lee standing there in summer uniforms. Quote, Naruto, how's it going? Sakura asked with a cheery smile. Pretty good, so what's with the get-up? Naruto asks. We have a mission in the land of moons and we have to cross the desert and it's going to get pretty warm. Kakashi responds, alright, what do I need? Standard long mission gear. Got it, just give me a minute to gather my things and say goodbye to Hinata-chan, Haku-chan and Ino-chan. Alright. Naruto, Sakura, Lee and Kakashi were walking in the desert and Naruto was starting to get annoyed. Okay, where the hell is the guy who we are supposed to meet? Naruto asks, annoyed. Just calm down, Naruto, the rendezvous point is just ahead. Sakura says, some B-rank mission this is. Naruto grumbles. This person we're supposed to escort, he's important, right, Kakashi-sensei? According to Lady Tsunade he is. Kakashi responds. Just then a huge line of horse-drawn carriages comes walking down the desert. Is this for one person? That was my next question. Naruto responds. Just what is all this for? Lee asks. For my shopping. A voice responds and then a rather porky man with a blue outfit stepped out of the first carriage. I saw so many wonderful things in all the lands we visited, I had to have them, so I just kept buying and before I knew it I ended up with all this. The man walks forward with a sort of carefree attitude. I am the prince of the land of moons. I'm Michiru and you, I take it, are from the village hidden in the leaves, your majesty. Kakashi responds. I am the squad leader Kakashi Hitaki, this is Naruto Uzumaki. How you doing? Naruto asks, looking around with his Rinnegan. Sakura Haruno. Pleasure is all mine. Sakura says, smiling. And Rock Lee. Sir, Lee responds with a salute. The 4 of us are your escort, we're here to see you safely back to your kingdom. Well, I can see I'm in good hands. Michiru responds, then he walks up to Sakura. Well, aren't you the pretty one? Michiru looks at Sakura. Far too pretty to be a shinobi. Don't be deceived, Sakura here is our team medic and a very good one at that. Naruto says, smiling. Thank you, Naruto. Sakura smiles. You don't say. Thank you, I'm glad you've come. Michiru says, ah, that's alright, it's no problem. Ah, she's cute. Michiru starts stroking Sakura's hands and Lee looks at Michiru with a look of pure rage. Just then Sakura crushes Michiru's hand and his face goes blue with pain. Like you said, you're in good hands. Kakashi said. Just then an arrow comes out of nowhere but Naruto grabs it using his Susanoo, then lets it go and it drops to the ground. Well, at least you can defend yourself, but what about us? A new voice says and a little kid walks out and Naruto gives him a cold look. If I wanted to I could level the entire area with a single jutsu. Naruto responds, dropping his Susanoo. I hope you will forgive my son Hikaru, he's going through that mischievous stage that boys go through. Michiru says. It's cool. Naruto laughs. You're a pretty good shot, I'll give you that, kid. Anyway, we should get moving, we don't have all day. Everyone starts moving along, and after about 4 miles of travel they encountered some bandits, but everyone drops into battle stances and the bandits are easily dealt with. In a few minutes later Naruto tied them up and then threw them off the cliff they were standing. There, I've defended you and it got to dance a bit. Naruto smiles, then they continue on their way. A few hours later they stop in a valley and they start eating their dinner, and after a while they fell asleep. When everyone woke up and packed up then got back on the road, and Kakashi looks at Michiru. So Michiru, do you intend to become king someday? Kakashi asks. Yes, once my papa retires, but he's in good health so that won't be for a long time. So what kind of king does the Hidden Leaf Village have? Michiru asks. We don't have a king, the Hokage is a shinobi. Is the title of Hokage passed down from generation to generation? No, anyone can be Hokage so long as they meet the qualifications. Kakashi looks at Naruto. Hell, it's Naruto's dream to become Hokage. Wanna achieve that dream, he's willing to risk it all and push himself to the limit every day. Amazing. It's nothing, just kind of what I do. Naruto smiles. That's stupid, Hikaru says. Stuck up little kid says what? Naruto walks forward reaching for his gunbai, but Kakashi pulls him aside. Naruto, remember, if any harms comes there will be an international incident. Kakashi says. Naruto glares but doesn't say anything. A few hours later they arrive in a new town and a sign that indicates that there is a circus in town, and Michiru decides he wants to go, so everyone begrudgingly went in, and after a while everyone started to really enjoy the circus, and after a while the announcer brings out a saber-toothed tiger and the crowd oohs and ahs at its performance, and eventually the little monkey lands on its head and pulls out an apple which it throws in the air, and an archer takes it out of the air. Impressive, right? But now let's see how you like this, the announcer says. The monkey takes out another apple and starts spinning it, and the saber-tooth gets on its hind legs and starts bobbing from side to side. If he's off by a fraction of an inch it's goodbye Kiki. He's rather calm about it. Madara says, scoffing. Oh come on Madara, I'm sure that the archer is very good, besides you need to learn to lighten up. Hashirama responds. Just then another arrow takes out the apple and Naruto sees that it's Hikaru who took the shot. The entire crowd goes silent with shock. Easy shot, Hikaru says confidently. Bravo, good eye Sonny, however let's see you handle this one, the announcer says. Then the saber-tooth starts running around with the monkey spinning the apple. Go ahead, try it now, and if you make it you win a prize. After a few seconds, as Hikaru gets used to the pattern, he takes the shot and hits the apple. The entire crowd erupts into applause. Wow. Remarkable, the boy has talent. Lee says. Well, I'll give him that. When you're good, you're good. Naruto says, mildly impressed. Impressive, I've never seen anything like it. The announcer says, impressed, I've done harder shots. Hikaru says half-heartedly, you deserve a prize for that one. Let's see, how would you like? I want him. Hikaru points at the saber-tooth. Chamu, oh he's far too big and dangerous, besides without him I wouldn't have a show. Can I have him please, father? Sure, why not, I've always wanted my own circus. Michiru responds. Why don't we buy the who think, tent and all? The announcer looks shocked. Eventually the circus packs up and Michiru writes the announcer a check for 1 billion. Amazing, this guy bought the whole circus. That's rich, alright. Naruto says, shocked. I don't even think that Hashirama could buy it if he wanted to. Naruto then sees Hikaru had walked over to Chamu. This won't end well. Naruto runs over just as Chamu is about to pounce on Hikaru and grabs him and pulls him out of the way. Sonny, he's a wild animal, he doesn't like humans, not even me. The announcer says, listen here you. Michiru grabs the announcer and starts shaking him. You've got to do something about that, my son was almost killed. What am I, chopped liver? Naruto mutters under his breath. Oh, of course we'll lock him up in his cage and keep him under guard at all times. The announcer says. After the circus is packed up and a night's rest for everyone, they head out and reach the port town. My prince, I'm afraid that a storm at sea has prevented the royal yacht from meeting us here as expected, but don't worry, I've made provisional arrangements for another ship to take us home, but don't worry, it won't take long. That's all right, I've got an important call to make here anyway. Michiru responds. Hours later everyone is getting ready to leave while Michiru mopes about Ameo, and then once everyone is loaded on the ship, when Hikaru walks up to Naruto, who was eating some ramen. Is it any good? Hikaru asks. Yeah, it's nothing compared to what you're used to, but I like it. Naruto starts walking off. You should be my vassal. Say what? Naruto turns around. Serve me as my vassal and I'll give you anything you want. Sorry, can't do that, I would have far too many regrets. Don't you like toys or games? If you serve me as my vassal, I'll give you all the toys and games you could ever want. Forget it, kid, I can't be your vassal, that would just put you and your entire land in danger. What do you mean? I've got a bunch of S-rank missing nin after me, and if I were your vassal the Akatsuki would target you and I wouldn't feel right putting you in that kind of danger. Besides, money isn't everything, sometimes what a person really wants you can't put a price on. What is it you want? Peace. I want to bring this world peace where kids like you won't have to fear losing their parents to war. Wow, that's noble of you. It's what my previous incarnation wanted but couldn't achieve. Who was your previous incarnation? The Sage of the Six Paths. Really? Like, I believe that. Well, believe what you like, that's the truth. Naruto walks away and the last of the stuff is loaded onto the boat and everyone prepares for departure. A few hours later, the prince is having a small little party and everyone is enjoying themselves, save Naruto, who was just standing on the boat just gazing at the ocean, his thoughts on home. You miss them, don't you, Naruto? Kakashi says, placing a hand on his student's shoulder. Yeah, I could Hirishin to them if I so desired, but then I would be abandoning the mission. I understand how you feel, Naruto. If you wanted to go visit them, I wouldn't blame you. Thanks, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto hands Kakashi a Hirishin kunai and then warps off to home. A few hours later, the boat meets up with the storm and Naruto and the others start rescuing the cargo and the animals. Eventually Hikaru jumps after Kiki after he fell off the side. Chamu jumps after him, grabbing him by the PJs, but then Chamu loses his grip and all three of them fall off, but Naruto jumps after them and holds his hand out. Universal pull. Then Chamu, Kiki and Hikaru go flying toward Naruto, who catches them all with his Susanoo. Hikaru, you alright? Yeah, thanks for the save. I hope you learned something from our little talk. Yeah, I did. Then Hikaru collapses from exhaustion. A few hours later, the storm had passed, and when Hikaru and Michiru walked out, Chamu and Kiki ran over and cuddled next to Hikaru. Amazing, I've never seen Chamu do that with anyone before. The announcer says, shocked. Hey Hikaru, I think you owe Chamu here an apology and I hope you never forget us. Naruto smiles. Yeah, I promise never to forget you if you promise to do the same. Promise. Naruto responds. Naruto then smiles as everyone gathers around, then Hikaru starts crying. What's wrong? As soon as we get back to the land of the moons, you guys are going back to your village. Don't worry, I'll never forget you, friend. Naruto holds out his hand smiling. Thanks, Naruto. Hikaru smiles back and everyone starts laughing around as the ship returns to the land of the moons. The ship arrived back at port and the ringmaster looked at Michiru. Come visit us in the place sometime, you will always be welcome. Michiru says, smiling. Thank you, your highness, it will be an honor. The ringmaster says and bows. Alright then, let's be off. And the stagecoach, Naruto, Sakura, Lee, and Kakashi starts walking away and heading towards the palace. As they travel along the way, the town is seemingly deserted. Naruto, something is wrong, where is everyone? Madara says. You're right, sensei, something is off here for the prince, there should be a parade welcoming his return. Naruto responds, instantly putting up his guard when he sensed a chakra source not too far from them. When they arrive at the palace, the gates open up and the carriage rolls in, but once again everything is deserted. Just then two people walk onto the balcony. Shabadaba. Well, if it isn't Michiru. Shabadaba responds. Back from your travels. Naruto. Kurama warns. I know, Kurama, I sense it. Naruto responds, reaching for his gunbai. I'm sure you must be exhausted. You and young Hikaru are well, I hope. Shabadaba continues. Yes, thank you, Shabadaba. What's going on in town? Where is everyone? There was no one to meet us. Michiru asks Shabadaba, but he doesn't respond but only looks on with an evil look in his eyes. Michiru looks around and sees that his father is missing. Where is my father? Is something wrong? Why didn't he come? The king, unfortunately, is dead. Instantly a huge battalion of soldiers march out and surround them. I rule in the land of the moons now, which means there is no more need for you, prince. Kill them all. The soldiers charge at them. Everyone get ready. Kakashi says and they enter defensive positions. Shall we dance? Naruto asks, drawing his gunbai and charging. He starts ducking and weaving, knocking back the guards with ease. Lee charges forward and starts knocking out guards as well, but Sakura jumps in the air and throws a bomb kunai. Kakashi looks at Michiru and Hikaru. Get back in the coach now. Kakashi shouts, then Michiru and Hikaru run back in the carriage and Kakashi looks at the driver. Drive that coach out of here now. The coach driver starts to flee. Stop them. One of the guards shouts and a swarm of them knock the driver off his seat. Quote, don't look now, but here comes more reinforcements. Naruto says as he sees another coach driving and a man jumps out and starts slashing at the guards but ensuring that he doesn't kill any. It's Koriga. Shabadaba shouts shocked. Captain Koriga, sir, one of the soldiers says shocked. What are you waiting for? He's a traitor, kill him now. I am no traitor. Koriga shouts. Just then several guards charge but Koriga blocks and knocks them on their asses. Can't you see? It's Lord Shabadaba who's the traitor. Koriga blocks another strike. Come to your senses, we're all brothers in arms. Another guard prepared to kill him but Kakashi blocks the attack. Thanks, who are you anyway? Leaf Village shinobi hired by the prince. Kakashi responds. I see, I'm glad you're here. We need to move fast, can you drive that coach? I'm on it. Koriga jumps into the driver's seat and guides the horses towards the gate. Kakashi and Naruto jump behind him and Kakashi lifts his headband to reveal his Sharingan, then starts weaving hand signs and a wall of earth appears, knocking the guards off balance. Then Naruto activates his Mangekyo and casts the black flames and created a wall of black flames. Shabadaba looks on in shock. Who are those people? Shabadaba says shocked. Well, Ishidate says, yeah. Karenbana responds. They're not bad. Thanks for the help, you fought well. I'm sorry that there wasn't time to send warning of what has happened here. Koriga says. Where are we headed? Kakashi asks. I've got men stationed in the mountains, we'll head there for now. Just then they pass the circus folks who notices them but don't stop them. When the group arrives in the mountains, Michiru and Hikaru run into the cave to see the king laying on the bed there. Papa. Michiru say shocked. Grandpa. Papa. Grandpa. Oh no, what's happened? So that's the king? Naruto asks. There have been clashes of late between the king and some of his advisors led by Shabadaba. Each side has different ideas on how to lead this land. The king hoped to reason with them and one day bring them around to his point of view. But meanwhile Shabadaba took matters into his own hands and he made plans to overthrow the king. By chance we found out of his plot and informed his majesty. He realized the time had come to confront his advisors. He knew this would be dangerous, so he sent Prince Michiru and his son on a tour of many lands in order to protect him. Koriga says. So that's why he sent us away. To protect us. Michiru responds. Once you were safely out of the way, the king confronted his advisors, but it was too late. Shabadaba had already hired shinobi mercenaries to secure his position. We were outmaneuvered and outmanned. We were barely able to escape in time, but the king, to my great shame, was not. Grandpa. Hikaru says, crying. Let me take a look at his injuries. Sakura says. Michiru pulls back. He covers, and to everyone's shock the arm and surrounding clothing had been turned to stone. It's completely turned stone. Yes. Koriga says. One of these shinobi has a special jutsu and due to my negligence he was able to use it on the king. Sakura, what can you do about this? Naruto asks. I'll see what can happen. Do your best, Sakura-chan. Lee says encouragingly. Sakura starts weaving hand signs and a blue chakra forms from her hands and then she touches the king's wounds and they start to heal. After a few minutes the petrification starts heal when she stops. What can you do? Kakashi asks. Nothing more can be done. I would have needed to treat it immediately and so much time has passed. My grandfather was always proud of me. He helped me practice my archery and he made me this bow, and when I got a bullseye he was even prouder than I was. Hikaru says. Do you think that you understand what your grandfather was saying? Naruto asked. No, I don't think I did. Well, I understood. You see, it's about what happens in your heart. Back in the Leaf Village, the third Hokage looked after me when I was younger. He was like my grandfather. When he died he left everything for me to look after. That's why I swear to myself that I'll be Hokage one day, and what your grandfather left is just as precious to him. But if it was really that precious, I don't think I'm ready for that. Well, you will be someday, Hikaru, you will be someday. We're friends, right? So one day when I'm Hokage and your king, our two lands will be allies. If the Land of the Moons is ever in trouble, then I promise that the Leaf Village will send help no matter what. Really? Yeah, it's a promise. Naruto and all the others were by the beach waiting for the signal from Koriga. Where are they? Koriga asked himself when suddenly he saw two people with small boats and Koriga runs over and one of the men leapt out and bowed to him. Captain Koriga, there is a ship waiting for you just beyond the bay. One of the men says to him, excellent. Koriga smiles and then motions to the rest and they run forward, but then Hikaru notices that Michiru isn't following and he runs back and grabs his father. "Father, it's time. Let's go," Hikaru says. "Alright." Michiru responds and they both start running and Michiru starts slowing down. "Don't run so fast." Michiru starts sweating. "Go on ahead," Kakashi says and the others run forward. Then Kakashi, Sakura, Lee and Naruto run back when suddenly Naruto activates his Susanoo and swats a bomb kunai out of the air, sending it away. "Nice try, but if you want to sneak up on a sensory type then you should hide your chakra," Naruto says. Then the kunai blows up in Naruto's face. Then the Rouge Shinobi land next to the others. "Kid, you've been poisoned, I'm dealing with it, but keep your Susanoo up no matter what," Kurama says to Naruto. "Got it, thanks Kurama. You guys can't be that stupid," Karenbana says. "We knew that you would try and leave the island, so we were watching the coast just waiting for you to show up," Ishidate says. "You can't poison a Jinchuriki that easily, you bitch," Naruto says, drawing his gun by. "Now shall we dance?" "Dance, are you stupid? This is a fight, not a ballet recital," Karenbana says. "Sorry, but I don't consider you threats, so unless you're on Hashirama Senju's level then you're not worthy of my time." When Naruto opens his eyes, it's the Sharingan. "Who the hell are you?" Kongo asks. "I am Madara Uchiha, now drowned in despair." Madara's eyes shift to the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. "Oh, Madara Uchiha, I call bullshit, he's been dead for over 50 years. Care to test your luck against me?" Madara raises an eyebrow and glares at them. Quote, "Die." Kongo yells and charges Madara, only for Madara to grab him with his Susanoo. "Really, if you're going to dance, at least make it interesting." Just then Ishidate grabs Kakashi's left arm, petrifying it. "Well, Madara Uchiha, if you don't want to die then hand over the prince and his son," Ishidate says. Madara raises an eyebrow. "Do you really think I give a damn about anyone here?" Madara channels chakra into the Susanoo's palm. Yatsaka Magatama. Madara chucks the attack and it connects with Kongo, blowing him up. "Kongo!" Karenbana shouts out. "You're next, little girl." Madara starts walking forward. "If there's one thing I can't stand, it's a weak woman. Die." Just then Hikaru cries out in pain and the Rinnegan reappears in Naruto's eyes, only for it to be replaced with slit eye and three tails spring up and the demon fox cloak appears. What is that power? Die. Naruto calls out, charging at high speeds and slices open Kongo's chest, drawing a huge amount of blood. Just then the guards that accompanied the Kongo, Karenbana and Ishidate, captured Michiru and Ishidate calls out, "Kongo, Karenbana, we're leaving." "Right." Karenbana yells out, grabbing the bleeding Kongo, and the three of them leap up, but not before Naruto teleports in front of them, marking all of them, then swatting them to the ground with a tail for each one, but Ishidate grabs Naruto's leg, petrifying it, giving them the opening they needed to escape. The power of Kurama fades from Naruto and everyone looks at him with deep fear. "Naruto, can you heal both of us please?" Kakashi asks, shaking his head. "Sure." Naruto summons up the King of Hell again and heals Kakashi and himself. A few hours later, Naruto hadn't spoken to anyone. Everyone who tried to approach him got a death glare. "Kid, are you alright?" Kurama asked. "I'm fine, Kurama-ni." Naruto responds sadly. "Kid, you can't lie to me, I know you better than anyone. You saw what happened out there. I nearly lost control, I could have just slaughtered without mercy. I was this close to the fourth tail, I could feel it. You need to be shown control, I can help you if you want to. I need to learn control, I think only B could teach me control. I mean, you and I are friends just like B and Yuki, but I still lose control like, and I'm scared, Kurama, I don't know what to do." "It's okay, kid, I'll make sure you're safe." "Naruto, you alright?" Kakashi's voice calls out to him. "No, I'm not. Leave me alone," Naruto says, throwing a kunai at the entrance to the cave. "Naruto, sulking here in the dark won't help you. The power of Kurama is getting stronger and I can't stop it. I nearly entered the fourth tail today. Naruto, you really need to get a grip. Sensei would be ashamed if he saw you like this." "You're right, Kakashi Sensei, Dad would be ashamed if he saw me like this. Let's go get back Michiru and save the land of moons. I know you can do it." "Yeah, let's go." The circus group, Naruto, and the others made their way to the palace gate when two guards stopped them. "You, what are you doing here again?" one of the guards asked. "Well, you see," the ringmaster said. "Get out of here." "Whoa there, brother," Kakashi said, stepping forward. "We were called here for a command performance by your boss. I received no orders." "You didn't." Kakashi steps forward. "Are you sure?" Kakashi lifts his eye patch that he was wearing and his Sharingan hypnotizes the guards. Shabadaba was tapping his fingers in an annoyed fashion as Michiru hadn't moved from his position on the plank holding him up, stopping him from dying. Just then Ishidate and the others walked in. "What is that?" Ishidate asks. "Entertainment," Shabadaba said. "A simple hanging is so boring, don't you think?" Just then circus music was heard. "What the?" one of the guards said as the circus group walked in. "That circus bunch again, how did they get in?" "Shall I send them away, my lord?" one of the servants asks. "Not quite." Shabadaba watches as one of the girls jumps onto an elephant. "Now this is entertainment, besides he was beginning to bore me." Naruto and the others were running through the hallways when Sakura calls out. "All right, Kakashi-sensei, we're ready." According to Kakashi-sensei, Prince Michiru is on the top floor. Naruto said, "Let's go." Then everyone runs up some stairs when suddenly they stopped and saw Kongo was standing there. "So he was right," Kongo says. "That Ishidate is a smart one. He said that all the ruckus outside was just a distraction. I'll give you a distraction," Naruto says, stepping forward reaching for his gunbai. "No wait Naruto, he is mine," Lee said. "You sure?" "Quite sure, he and I have unfinished business." "He's all yours, Lee." Naruto fist bumps him. "Be careful, Lee-kun." Sakura kissed Lee on the cheek. "Oh no you don't." Kongo yells, but Lee delivers a heel kick to the head only for Kongo to block it. "This time I won't go easy on you." Lee pulls out a set of nunchucks. "I could say the same," Lee retorts. The others start running down more hallways and they run up more stairs when Sakura throws a kunai at the wall where Naruto sensed some dark intent. "Ah, how'd you guess?" Karenbana asks. "'Cause you stink," Sakura responds. "Little girl's wearing heavy perfume, so tacky." "What?" "Go on ahead, I'll handle her." "Little girl, huh?" Karenbana charges, but everyone dodges, and when the smoke clears, Karenbana's blushing slightly. "I'll have you know I'm 22. That old." Sakura say, surprised. The others run off, and then Naruto senses dark intent right above them and he throws a lightning-enhanced kunai which nearly cuts Ishidate's head off, but he dodges. "Wow, and I though our last encounter would have taught you a lesson. You need to hide your dark intent or you're as visible as if you charged right at me." Naruto scoffs, then he throws a smoke bomb on the ground and they run off with Chamu carrying Hikaru. "Little punk." Lee takes out another set of nunchucks and while dodging strikes from Kongo, then he throws his weights in the air and the crash around the floor causing major damage. "You little punk." Kongo sneers, but Lee moves at lightning fast speeds and then picks up seconds of his weights and transforms his nunchucks into a staff and starts swinging and smacks Kongo in the air. Then using his speed he appears above Kongo and using all his might smacks Kongo to the ground. "That ought to do it." Lee smiles triumphantly. Kakashi used the huge water badger and the fountain to attack more guards, then he collapsed to the ground. "Must have overused my Sharingan," Kakashi says weakly. Just then more guards appear. But this is no time for complaining. Sakura throw two shuriken at Karenbana, but she blocks them and then runs forward and throws a punch at Sakura, who dodges and throws a spinning heel kick, but Karenbana dodges. Then she throw a punch which Karenbana dodges again, but Sakura smashed a wall using some of Tsunade's legendary strength. "Wow." Karenbana taunts, then she flips back, then she throws a kunai slash at Sakura, who dodges only to have her hem cut. "That poison gas again." Sakura say angrily. Karenbana doesn't respond but merely dissolves into the gas, revealing that she was a clone. Kongo struggles to his feet. "Stupid brat," Kongo calls out. Chamu runs up onto the balcony of the tower across from his father's tower. "Father," Hikaru shouts out concerned. "Hikaru," Michiru says. Just then Ishidate bursts through the tower walls and jumps in front of Hikaru. "Now then," Ishidate says, but just then Naruto's Susanoo hand slams down on the ground in front of him. "You again. To get Hikaru you need to go through me," Naruto says, grabbing his gunbai. "With pleasure." Then Naruto charges and he swings his gunbai, which Ishidate dodges only to walk into Naruto's fist, which sends him rocketing backwards. "Nice try, but you will need to do better than that if you want to dance with me." Naruto then charges, slamming his gunbai down at Ishidate's head, but Ishidate rolls to the side and jump in the air, then thrust his hand down and tower rock rises up and Ishidate starts standing on the floating rubble. "Well, looks like you will make for an interesting partner after all." Naruto then holds out his hand. Universal pull, and Ishidate goes rocketing towards Naruto, who swings his scythe, cutting deep into Ishidate's chest. "You punk!" Ishidate roars and he grabs at Naruto's leg, but Naruto jumps over him and makes the horse hand sign. "Fire style. Great fire annihilation." Naruto exhales the blast of fire, knocking Ishidate off the edge, and Naruto grabs him and kicks him in the chest, sending him rocketing to the ground. Karenbana kept laughing as she slashed away as Sakura. Kongo started kicking Lee around, but to his frustration every blow he made Lee recovered from with ease, getting right back up. Third gate. Gate of Life open. Lee shouts out and his skin turns red and he starts smacking Kongo around with ease, and then he kick him in the air. His bandages wrapped around Kongo and he slammed his fist into Kongo, rupturing his internal organs with ease and breaking his neck. Hidden Lotus. Naruto laughed as he charged up a Rasengan. This is the end, you sack of crap. Die. Naruto slams his Rasengan into Ishidate's face, then he expands the chakra, disintegrating him into nothingness. No. Shabadaba roars and Naruto kills his most trusted man. It's over, Shabadaba, I'm coming for you next. Naruto snarls, then he Hirishins up to Michiru and cuts him free, and the jumps down and grabs Hikaru, then creates a wood clone. Stay here, I'm going for Shabadaba and I'll put an end to this nightmare once and for all. Yes sir. Sakura struggled to her feet. I'll fucking kill you. Sakura slams her fist into the ground, and when Karenbana stumbles, Sakura slams her fist into Karenbana, shattering her neck, killing her. Too bad you didn't watch your footing, bitch. Sakura then runs down to Kakashi and looks at him collapsed on the ground. You okay, Kakashi-sensei? Nothing a few weeks of intensive care won't fix. Alright. That means we've got a few weeks of vacation time. Naruto burst down the front doors, slaughtering the guards that were guarding Shabadaba. Drown in despair. This is the power of Naruto Uzumaki. Divine power. Naruto growls, locking eyes with Shabadaba. Tsukuyomi. After the torture was over, Naruto grabbed Shabadaba's head. Human path. And he grabbed out Shabadaba's soul and had the King of Hell devour it, so he was sent to hell for his sins. After the small vacation they enjoyed in the Land of Moons, the mixed Team 7 returned to Konoha using the Hirishin as they wanted to report back as soon as possible. It was night time when they left the Land of Moons, as Hikaru wanted to spend as much time as he could with his friends. When they appeared again, they were in the Hokage's office and found Tsunade sleeping at her desk. Ba-chan, wake up. Naruto shouted, startling Tsunade from her rest. Naruto. Tsunade shouted in fury at being disturbed from her rest. Calm down, Ba-chan, we're here to report a successful mission in the Land of Moons. Good to hear, I'll be adding it to your record now. I think you have an appointment with Jiraiya that you're 2 weeks late for. Well, sorry if a certain someone needed to rest because he used the Sharingan too much. Naruto glares at Kakashi. Get packing, kid, we leave tomorrow morning. Jiraiya's voice calls from behind them. Not so fast, Jiraiya, I'm going with you. Mikuru says as he steps out from behind the door. Must you be my moral officer? Yes I do. Now if you will excuse me, I've got something I need to take care of. Mikuru Hirishins out. When he reappears, he's in front of the Uchiha compound and he knocked on the door and Makoto walked out. Hey Mikuru-kun, what's up? Makoto asked, a little shocked. Well, I got to go help train with the savior to be, that is Naruto, and since he's going with Jiraiya. Mikuru trails off. I wish you didn't have to go, but I understand why you have to. Alright, tell you what, when I report back I'll take you out for dinner. Where? Golden Lotus. But that's the hardest restaurant to get into too, are you sure? I always make good on my promises, I'm getting us in there. Okay, so 5 to 5:30. Yes, sounds about right. Well, good luck Mikuru-kun, and I'm holding you to that promise. Makoto kisses him on the cheek and Mikuru flushed a deep red. Then when Makoto closed the door, Mikuru spun around and shouted into the night with a triumphant whoop, and he started walking home, hands in his pockets, whistling a happy tune. Naruto walked back into his house, and when he opened the door, Hinata and Haku were standing there, and when they saw him they jumped at him, giving him a bone-crushing hug. Naruto-kun, they both said simultaneously with glee. I wouldn't get too used to my company. I'm going to have to leave for 3 years starting tomorrow morning. Naruto says sadly. Aw man, you come back only to leave us again. When you come back we want to get some serious alone time with you, Naruto-kun. Hinata pouts. Of course Hinata-chan, Haku-chan. Naruto smiles at them both. Then they all go to bed and fall asleep. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.